All right. Okay, well, hello everyone. Hope you're great. You're doing good. We're very excited here on our end about working again with the Allen Foundation. This is, I think, the third year, if I'm not mistaken, Carrie. Third year in a
Yes, it
row.
is. Yeah, we're excited.
So another fantastic itinerary, and you got one of the top itineraries. Andalusia is one of the oldest itinerary, one of the first one, just after Costa Rica. Costa Rica would be the very first itineraries, experiential itineraries that were started with, back in the days, and the very following ones were Andalusia. So it started taking groups of students. We wanted to offer them experiential, itineraries. We didn't want them to go through the normal homestay, go to your school, learn Spanish, and go have fun with your friends at night and be totally disconnected with the experience. We wanted to find something that had a meaning, something where the students were connected with their purpose from the first moment they landed, from the moment they were leaving. And by optimizing all those experiences, the guides, how they're weaving all those activities, they're creating again a mentality where when they leave, they're taking a bit of the country, of the culture they've been with them. So that's what has happened in Costa Rica the first year. That's definitely what happened in Ireland. Well, I definitely hope so. And
Absolutely.
and it is for sure what's going to happen in Andalusia. So very important for the parents that don't know us. We're E&E Expeditions, and we specialize in a very niche area. We do experiential and educational travel. Okay, so this is not tourism. This is very, very different from tourism. We're not sightseeing. We are experiencing the culture. We have educators, guides that are from the first moment welcoming the group, and they are making sure that everybody is obviously comfortable and safe, but understand that they're part of an expedition. They're part of a team, and they're going to set the scene so everybody has their space, their opportunity, but they need to be aware and motivated that it's an expedition. They're going to be expected to do things, to expand their comfort zone, to try new things, and to work in team. And I'm just brushing the surface of what experiential and educational travel is. So as I said, this is very different from your standard, school tour abroad with sightseeings. This is carefully curated. This is carefully calculated. This is weaved together. This is weaving work, if you prefer, at an educational level. That experience in Andalusia has a lot of off the beaten track. So that's another thing that people need to be aware, because we're not a tourism agency. What we are seeking is authenticity. We're seeking that those students change their point of view, that they find things they didn't know about, that they meet people that, on the surface or from the outside they would have never spoken with. And by speaking with those people, they learn new things, see new point of view. They, again, expand the comfort zone and become, new people with more skills, with more capabilities, with more capacity for understanding. Okay, so the itinerary in Andalusia, as I say, has some of the spots are, kind of famous, but most of them we're trying to be off the beaten track, because what we want is to find the uniqueness, the authenticity. Even though there's a lot of it in Andalusia, we want to make sure that this is as much as possible off the beaten track and in little communities. So again, guides will be, like for every single one of our trip, expecting the groups at the airport. They're picking up the groups at the airport, and they will not leave the group until they're back in the plane on the last day of the tour. So they are constantly with them, like a big brother, big sister, and an expedition leader. They're leaders of the tours, like scientific leaders. They have goals that they want to meet, and they need the help of the students and their teacher to meet those goals. Okay. You have access to a site, which that site has all the information about E&E and about the itinerary. That site will be evolving. Do you want me to share it so people can quickly have a quick view of it? Because parents will need at some point to access it, even though it's going to evolve and it's going to change slightly. It's a good idea. Okay, it's a good idea. Maybe I show that site that they're going to need to access pretty soon. So there it is. So this is the actual site. So it's a link that Carrie will be communicating to all participants. There's a little bit of information about E&E. And if you go to the nav bar at the very top, okay, we have the different areas. Some more areas will be popping up as we get closer to the trip, and more information will be added, more precise information. So we have a packing list. Obviously, that packing list will evolve to the weather, the prediction, or maybe last minute activity that we change. So that packing list may change, and we'll go over it a number of times with the students and with the parents when we meet for our various meetings. Okay, there is what we call a behavior expectation that students need and parents will need to go through, and students will need to sign that behavior expectation. There's a bunch of information about safety, mission overview, and so on. And obviously there is the itinerary. So the itinerary, as I say, will be evolving. There will be more information, dates, the name of the places and villages where we're going to be staying. So there's going to be more and more information uploaded on that site as the time gets close by. Okay. So we have a tentative date, which may still change over the next 2-3 weeks. But for the moment, we had a tentative date of arrival in Spain, June 7th in Malaga, arrival in Spain, which means leaving a day earlier, June 6th, and leaving Spain, leaving Malaga on June 16th, 2025. So it's 10 days on site.
Okay. And it does look like that's what it's going to be, Sam. I was able to secure hold some really good fares after we chatted. So I think it is going to stay that way.
Perfect. Those work great. Those were great dates. And for the moment, everybody I've been talking with, guides, accommodation, no major problem. It's going to be good weather. It's starting to get hot, not yet the big temperatures that Spain gets, but it'll be warm. It'll be pretty warm. So again, 10 days itinerary. The first, you're landing in Malaga, which is the Costa del Sol, very south of Spain, one of the major airports of Andalusia. Costa del Sol, which is that whole entire southern coast, pretty much it's almost the furthest southern point of the Iberian Peninsula and of Europe. In front of us, this the coast of Africa. We can see sometime when the weather is clear. So the Costa del Sol is the very touristy area. It's been highly developed for European tourism since the 1980s. This is not an area we're going to see much. It's just landing at the airport. Okay, pretty much. Your group will be transferred for the next 2 nights to a little village up the coast. It's a tiny little village in the province of Granada. It's a beautiful, very rugged landscape, lots of mountains that come all the way down the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas, the real Sierra Nevadas, the original ones, that come all the way down to the edge of the Mediterranean. So it's a tiny little village, horse bay, actually there's quite a few horse bay because it's a very rugged coastline. So it's got a subtropical climate, and it's a tiny little village. Everybody lives outside. People leave very late. You have a huge mix living together in the streets. People live outside. They are together, speaking in the benches, walking the little village. It's a tiny little white village built on the hill. And there's a huge mix of the different classes and of the different ages. Spanish people, they live all together in communities, and especially in those villages. You have old people speaking to little kids, speaking to teenagers, speaking to adults. It's everybody mixed together, and everybody mixing together doesn't matter where they're from or where they come from. It's the spirit of community that's how it works here. And so it's the perfect setting for a group of teenagers, to experience a country and, from the inside as a local and feel welcome, pretty much. So 2 nights in that little village. What's involved in those 2 days? They will be exploring coves and caves on a kayak with licensed guides, because this is again rugged coastline. There's a lot of history in the area. Spanish Armada sunk here in the 14th century because of a bad storm. And again, we're facing the coast of Africa, so that was a very important place for Spanish Armada to be navigating to protect the coast from a possible invasion from North Africa, and so on. We're going to meet a local traditional Spanish guitar maker. We're going to meet him. We're going to visit his workshop. He's going to tell him about his passion, how he was adopted by a culture, how he learned such a specific skill, in such a, you would think, heritage and cultural specific art that could be Spanish guitar making. Well, he's gonna transmit his passion, explain why from very young he just got seduced by a guitar and by the art of guitar making, and how he became, one of the most famous Spanish guitar maker. So prized guitars, with a very long waiting list, and people from all over the world wanting one of his guitars. They're gonna meet him. They're gonna learn about his passion, and hopefully, it's gonna spark some future musicians in the group.
I think our musical kids will highly enjoy that, Carrie. I mean, I know we have a lot of band kids already signed up, and I think that's going to be a really cool experience for them.
Absolutely. And the ones that aren't in band are in the arts in other ways, so they'll definitely
Yeah. I agree.
It's you're going to see this connections. There's a lot of connection through the whole entire itinerary, because that's only the setting. That's only the first part. Okay. Our guys, because it's a tiny little village, it's extremely safe. We've been using that little village as a home base for all our groups. We have groups that come and spend 2 or 3 weeks homestay in that little village. So the whole entire advantage is everybody knows each other. So when the students come in, they know where those students come from. They say, oh, they must be students of such and such. So we need to watch over them, So there's that kind of shared feeling that everybody watches over everybody's kids, which is a great thing. Kids are running all over the place, biking, playing football all over the village. So over those 2 days, their guys are probably going to start creating some little challenges, some little scavenger hunts, so that the students on their own, with obviously supervised by an adult, but it's their task. They need to start understanding the culture by finding, either places or information or even people, in the village, like activities in the covered market, the fish market, or, where you have hanging hams and so on. There's lots of things that we do, so they get surprised, they find the information, they come back to us and they say, well, this is what we find out. And, we ask them to compare to their experience, compared to their own country, for example.
In Italy, the scavenger hunts were some of the kids' favorite things that they did. So I know that's a great way to get the kids to interact and keep them entertained and happy. And they learned so much during that time.
Then it gets them talking to the local community more as well, versus just being a passerby, right? I mean, they have to invest in it and connect to it to try to when you make anything a challenge, kids tend to jump all over that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And as I say, that's the perfect setting for it, because it's safe. You know, it's safe and it's very vocal. It's like once we're there to help them, and we're there to again to expand their vision and their comfort zone, and they get it straight away. They are very good, you know, and they work in teams, and the guides are very good at helping them, you know, really, you know, get them to find. The guides are very good, if you prefer, that's how we call it, at dropping the breadcrumbs. The kids are picking up the breadcrumbs and they're connecting the dots. All right, so that's the concept. Those are the 2 days in the little white village of La Herradura on the coast of Granada. Day three, we're hitting inland. We're driving inland. It's about an hour and a half. We are lucky to have a geopark inland. It's off the beaten track. You have very little people going over there. We literally have an ancient internal ocean, and that whole entire ocean that obviously after millions of years dried out is the whole entire valley of Guadix. And what you have over there that was created as a geopark because you have one of the best geological record of the tertiary period, which means that you literally have badlands, you literally have canyons, and you have an amazing fossil record. I mean, we're talking a saber tooth. There's a paleontological station with scientists, which we're actually going to visit with the kids when we're out there. There's going to be a bit of hiking in the Badlands because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful area. You have warm springs. And the idea over there for the 2 nights we're going to be over there, we're going to be staying at the, it's an ancient, very old spa that spa has been active since Roman times. So it is a very old spa. Obviously, it's been modernized in the 1980s, as you can imagine. And the spa has a private land. It's a huge land. And in those lands where the warm spring is located, the original pools, you have dolmens and remains that are anywhere between 3,000 and 6,000 years old. So we have some of the oldest man settlement in Europe right over there, and it's within the land that belongs to the spa. The spa will be closed at that time of the year. They're pretty much opening it just for us. And the idea is not to stay in the hotel of the spa. They're setting up glamping for us. So we literally have fantastic tents, very comfortable with cots and everything. We have bathroom, gender separated bathroom and showers, barbecues and hot pools, pretty much just for us. For the 2 nights, we're going to be glamping over there. So again, glamping is glamorous camping. It's a camping without having to do anything, pretty much, and with your bed already made inside your tent. So 2 nights over there. What else are we going to see over there? Yes, I was telling you about the paleontological station. The other thing we have is we have one of the clearest and darkest skies in the peninsula. So at night, we will go and visit one of the local telescope. It's a tiny little privately run telescope, but they have fantastic stargazing activity over there, just on top of the mesas and above the Badlands. So it is a pretty magical area. So again, 2 nights over there. We are again, because this is an ancient ocean. It's everything is old plasters and silt. So for centuries, the local people in that whole area, they've been living in caves. Houses from outside look like houses, but they're actually dug inside the mountain. So it keeps the temperature the same the whole entire year round. We're going to go visit one of those cave houses, and they're going to be doing some activities over there, probably some bread making and maybe some tile making, depending on what they have in mind for us on that day at the cave house. The next day, we're driving back towards Granada. So Granada is was the last town, province to fall during Moorish occupation. It fell in 1492. That's a date that will ring a bell. For some people, a great date. For other people, not so great. It is actually related. Once the Christian kings had finished their crusade and conquered the Iberian Peninsula, as the most famous kings in Europe, they needed to do the next best thing. So Columbus showed up and said, "Hey, I do have an idea. Somebody told me that there's an extra quicker route to the Indies this way." And Isabel, the Christian queen, says, "Well, we need to keep finding something new. So yes, we'll fund you." And the rest is history. So Granada, the last town, has been maintained as a trophy from the Spanish Christian kings. It's been maintained, so you have the perfect example of the mixing of cultures, Jewish, Muslim, and Christian. You find it in the food, you find it in the architecture, you find it in the music. Flamenco is a hybrid of different culture. It keeps evolving to this day, and at the base, it was Jewish chants, Arabic instrument, and Christian dances together. So our day in Granada, they will visit the citadel of the Alhambra. Your guides are official heritage guides, so they can also guide you inside the Alhambra palaces and citadel. And the same day after lunch, I'm sorry, a little change in the itinerary, Carrie. On that same afternoon, we'll spend a little bit, we'll try to give them a bit of time to go souvenir hunting in Granada, because it's a fun town to walk around with the adults. It's a university town, so there's loads of students from all over the world, just because it's such hip and such full of culture. And as I say, it's obvious, it's in your face. The three culture are there, whether it's in the food, the architecture, or the flamenco that you hear.
I loved that part of the country. I thought that was great. I was so glad that you sent us there.
Yeah, Granada is fantastic. It's got a charm of its own. In the afternoon, we're not spending the night over there because we changed the itinerary because we have a great plan. We are following the footstep of the Moorish kings. That's once they got, once Granada got conquered, they peacefully, were asked to leave. So the Moorish kings and anybody that wanted to follow emigrated to the southern slopes of the Sierra Nevada, where they had, their summer palaces. So the southern slope of Sierra Nevada that are facing the Mediterranean are where some of the hardest access area, but some of the richest areas. It's beautiful, water everywhere. You have the Sierra Nevada behind you, the white snows, that melt and that feed all the creeks and the mountains. So plantation, and so on. So those little villages over there in the foothill of Sierra Nevada, which obviously have been reconquered, afterwards, they've kept a lot of the traditions, and they've kept a lot of, obviously, the architecture. They look just like North Africa villages, okay? And as a matter of fact, technically, they don't look like North Africa villages, when it's actually the contrary. North Africa villages look like Sierra Nevada villages because actually North Africa was reconquered by the Moors after they were kicked out of Spain. So historically, it's actually the other way around. So they're going to spend the night over there in a little village called Pampanera, one of those little white villages. Water flowing everywhere, as I said, because it's just a wealth of water and very steep hills, but beautiful. They're going to spend the night over there. The next day, they will explore the village, meet the locals, and they will have hands-on weaving workshop activity. Again, the southern slope, it's related with history. The southern slope of the Sierra Nevada, especially because of the Moors who had brought agriculture, aquaculture, architecture, and obviously weaving technology. Silkworm was brought for them and by them. And to this day, silkworm, they still used in that side of the mountain to keep the tradition, and they might, use it at little batches, but they breed the silkworm, use the silk, and keep on weaving. And that's great for the local economies of those little villages. So there are going to be a bit of hiking, some fantastic hikes in the ravine over there. It's on the GR7 for any big fans of hiking. GR7 is one of the most famous hiking trail in Europe because it starts in Algeciras down south in Andalusia and it goes all the way to Greece. So it's a very famous hiking trail. So parts of it is right there, right where they're going to be staying. All right, day seven, we're doing a little return to Granada because we're connecting back to music and flamenco. We're going to visit the Albaicin Gypsy Quarter in Granada, okay? And they're going to meet Violeta. Violeta is a local dancer choreographer, pretty famous. She's a fantastic teacher. She's a fantastic flamenco teacher. She will bring the flamenco face in every single one of those students and teacher. Josh, you will not be spared.
We did the dance in Ireland, so it won't be pretty though. I just guarantee it. But it was a lot of fun. The kids really did love the dancing day. I think that
was a great time for everybody, all the adults too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I think that will be highly enjoyed by all the kids as well.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a strong connection when you're in Ireland with the Irish dancing because of tap dancing, obviously, and there's a strong connection with the kids because they're being told the history of Ireland and how for example hurling was you could not practice hurling, you could go to jail if you were caught practicing hurling. Same thing with the dancing. The dancing is not only an art, it's it's a form of freedom, liberation, and it was so it's got when you're doing it, you're doing a bit more than just dancing. You're kind of understanding a bit more the local culture.
Yeah, I mean it tied into so much of their history and the reason for the dance and what it represented, and tying that to everything we learned about already throughout the trip was very informative and inspiring.
And it was fun. It really was fun.
It was fun.
Everybody had a good time.
For somebody who can't dance, it was fun.
Yeah. So we continue. That evening we're moving to Malaga. So Malaga is the airport town. Okay, it's the airport town. So anywhere west of Malaga is very touristy, and it's kind of nice and pretty, but very touristy. But Malaga itself is not that touristy. Malaga is really owned by the Malaga people. Again, a huge university. It's a very lively town. And again, as any Andalusian town, and especially in June, it's very lively. There's loads of people. People are outside constantly. People live outside. So we're going to spend the night in the Old Quarter, in the middle of Old Quarter. So there'll be some fantastic opportunity to, again, souvenir hunting, see the tiny little streets, find some fantastic Spanish fans, and things like that. This is a great town, and we're staying right in the old town, so it's pedestrian all around it. Let me continue. Day 8, we are doing a day trip to Ronda. Ronda is very famous worldwide. It's the oldest bull ring in the world is in Ronda, and we're doing an interesting day because we're going to try, and we always manage it, to change, or at least, understand other points of views. Bullfighting is a very, very controversial art, all right? And it is also an art that unfortunately is not evolving so much. You know, in some countries it is evolving. France, I believe it has evolved quite a lot. But in Spain, it is very slowly evolving. But what we want to have the students understand is why is it something important in Spain? Why bullfighting doesn't change or, you know, doesn't disappear? What is that anchor? What is that heritage? Why is the cultural reason why it's not changing? So they're going to visit, to start with, a fighting bull breeding farm. Okay, this is a huge and beautiful farm. They cannot approach those bulls because the bulls don't have contact, human contact, until the day they go to the bull ring. Okay, but they're going to meet the breeders. They're going to see the passion behind the breeding, behind the caring, behind trying to keep them as wild as possible, with as little contact with the humans as possible. They're going to see the horse, the Spanish Andalusian horses. So they're going to slowly see the love of the breeders, the love of the land, the love of the local culture of the horse. You know, they're going to see it from the root where it's coming from. They're going to see it from the countryside. Okay. And they're not going to see a bullfight because we don't think it's appropriate, because I think it's something personal. They should decide when they're old enough if they want to go see a bullfight or not. But we want to give them the elements of why it's happening, how it's happening, you know, what is beautiful about it and what isn't beautiful about it. We want them to have all the elements and be able to value all point of views from within, not from outside. We'll visit the bull ring in Ronda. It is a museum. It is a beautiful museum. So they will actually walk within the bull ring and see, you know, what it feels like to be in the middle of a bull ring, and imagine one of those animals, you know, running rampage in one of those arena. Okay. We are spending the night again back in Malaga, and the next morning we are hitting the Caminito del Rey, which is one of the most famous hikes in the Malaga area. It's worldwide famous. This used to be, it's a closed valley, okay, with a very steep gorge. So it was very hard access, and it was a famous rock climbing and area back in the 70s. It was so famous that they decided to, you know, to create, to protect it and to manage it. So it is a managed route of a hanging bridge and platforms across the cliff, and everything obviously is maintained with safety people. There is security. There are guides. You must go with the guides when you go over there, and there's absolutely no risk because, as I say, it's there's no everything is on a pass rail, so it is not. It is. I mean, you could technically, you could almost do that hike in a wheelchair. It's almost wheelchair accessible. That's how it's long, but it's extremely safe and beautiful. So this is the Caminito del Rey. Ruth will spend most of the day doing, well, 3/4 of the day doing that hike. Very easy, taking their time, probably bringing a picnic with them, and, you know, bringing back a fantastic souvenir. Day 10, next morning, we're in Malaga. It's a day we go back to the airport, say goodbye to our guides, big brother, big sister, and, you know, and say hasta luego and fly back home.
Sounds
Might be
great.
the hardest trip.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, it looks amazing, Sam.
It is a fantastic itinerary and very, very mellow. I mean, I'm sure you've noticed it's relaxed. There's no There's never much driving, maybe with traffic, up to Ronda, maybe an hour and a half. It's close in distance, but because those are windy roads, if you hit traffic, well, it could take time to get there. But there's never that much traffic. Days are very long in Spain, so you're gonna have daylight pretty much from the moment you wake up, from the moment you go to bed. Loads of food. Andalusian Spanish food usually, is world famous. Everybody loves it. It's a food that is really about sharing. This is one thing that we will explain to the student. The whole entire concept of Spanish food, again, comes from the fact that it's a very family-oriented culture. And so you have very, very big families that sit down at the table. So it's all about passing plates around, a little bit similar to the Italian culture. You see what I'm trying to say? It's a bit more finger food than the Italians, the Andalusian culture, especially in summer. Cold soups and things like that. So this is something that from day one, the guides are going to be pushing and say, we're in Spain, you're Spanish, we're going to eat the Spanish way.
I think that's great.
Yeah, and just from a, I guess from a parent standpoint and a chaperone from the last trip, that's one of the big takeaways that I would stress to the kids is diving into the culture, right? Understanding that you're there to not just observe, but to partake. Sam, the guides in Ireland were very, very good about trying to get the kids to feel like not to feel like they're part of it, to by learning about the culture, trying to get them to feel a sense of being part of the culture, being part of the community, being part of what's going on around them. And that's part of the expedition mentality, right? Is that you're not just a bystander, you're not just there to walk through and forget about it. It's learning, it's experiencing, it's trying something new. Like you said, it's pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, which I I had to embrace with the dancing in Ireland. That's definitely not a comfort zone. All the other stuff I loved. It was absolutely up my alley. I love being out in nature. My kid loves being out in nature, and she loved every aspect of the trip. But there were tough times with some of the hikes that we did in Ireland, but they were the most absolutely beautiful things that we saw. And y'all putting together these itineraries and getting us into smaller culture, smaller civilization pockets allows the kids and allows the chaperones and every adult on the trip to really embrace and to dive into that opportunity to see what life is really like outside of our normal perspectives, which I think is really the key. And Carrie, I think that's the key for the foundation, right? Is to give these kids an opportunity to see and experience and feel life outside of that, and to number one, not take for granted what they have in their everyday lives, or to see it in a different light of, wow, I really see how they can deal with less. Why do I need so much? And the internet's not, and the video games aren't what life is all about. It's the family, the community, the investment into your surroundings that really can bring you a lot more joy than what you have in your hands, right? And so y'all's approach and y'all's commitment to that, and your guides' knowledge and bringing the history and bringing, I love history and all the history we learned in Ireland, and all of that is in my opinion what E&E is about, and what Carrie and the Allen Foundation are trying to get for these kids. Is we can learn about it in school, we can learn about it elsewhere, but to really experience it is bar none higher than anything else I've ever seen. So I think y'all do an exceptional job with that. And Carrie's foundation, the Allen Foundation, is doing an exceptional job getting these kids this opportunity to do this.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and we love it. I am right there with you, Josh. I appreciate all those words. Just the kids just have such a different perspective. So many of those kids have their own differences, whatever their own differences is. But I think they really learn that as part of that team, everybody appreciates those differences. But then not only are their team not creates the difference, but appreciates those differences, but that they look at the culture as, wow, that culture is different from mine, just like I'm different from these other people, and it just gives you this whole new appreciation of, yeah, your culture has its great points, and so do these others, but by being in it, you just feel more understanding and more aware, and it just shows you that we don't have to all agree with everything each other does. We can be understanding and part of something that's bigger than ourselves, and we can feel good about it. And we can, like you were talking about the bullfighting, we can understand why they feel that way. We don't necessarily have to agree with it, but we can still have an appreciation of it. And I think that's one of the things that people are missing these days is we don't appreciate what's special about each other. And so we're not able to embrace that and show kindness and understanding. And I love that your guides just kind of bring that out in your culture and how they encourage the kids to participate in that. I just love that. I would love for you guys to chat a little bit about kind of the bandana ceremony and how the teamwork works. Being that I didn't go to all the bandana ceremonies every night, and I wasn't part of your team breakdown every night, I didn't get to see all of that, but I know it was so emotional for the kids, and I know that's one of the things mine talk about. So I would love for the two of you guys to chat about that a little bit and tell the parents some about, because I think that makes you really different from a traditional school trip.
So again, there's a whole entire science to experiential education. Okay, there's tons of books written about it, and we come from an educational background. It's like we have all worked or are still working in a school environment, whether it's high school or university. So what we have done is we have pretty much brought everything, the best of education, which we can maybe not always do because of political reason or curriculum requirement, and applied what we think are the best educational methods, and bring them, to traveling, which is the perfect laboratory. Is like experiential learning can be used in a classroom. Absolutely. It can be used anywhere. It can be used at home. It can be used in a kindergarten, can be used in high school, it is widely used in university and college. Okay. So it can be used anywhere, but it works perfectly with traveling and teenager because it's the perfect laboratory pretty much. So when it comes to experiential education, it works just like an expedition, and it works just like a scientific research or experiment. It's about, as a team with different ability, which is exactly what we have, a group of kids with different ability. Okay, we bring the best out of each kid. Okay, for a goal, for a task. It's a daily task, or it can be 2 tasks in the day. It could be a hike. It could be a lunch, and at the end, all those different tasks are an expedition for a bigger, greater goal. Okay, and every day for that expedition to run smoothly, for everybody to bring the best in them voluntarily, for everybody to take leadership, to be aware, and to take responsibility for their action, you need every day to pretty much unite your team, explain them what we're going to be doing, what we need from them, delegate, accept opinions, even ideas from those members of the group. And we're talking about the kids there and the teacher, of course. Okay, so that they know exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, and they have their inputs into that. So this is the meeting we have every day with the chaperone, with the teacher, and then with the whole entire group. Okay, as the days go by, the first few days, kids being kids, they say, okay, we're being told what we need to do. And slowly, the guides go explaining, no, you're not getting it. We're a team. We're telling you today, tomorrow, you need to tell us. Okay, so how is that evolving every day? We have exactly what Josh was telling about. We are instilling every day by showing example, by showing what is and what isn't, an expedition mentality. Every morning we're explaining what's happening, what is needed, what are the safety things that they need to be aware that we need their help with. Okay, we're going to tell them who we're going to meet, and if they want the best out of that person, how they should behave with those persons. Okay, it could be what joke they want to hear. It's all about it's all about breaking the ice, and then you're going to meet that guy today, and you're going to love it because he's going to do such and such. So be aware this is going to be happening. Okay, so this is what's happening every morning, and every morning we're giving more responsibility and we're asking more in return from the kids. And every evening we have what we call a nightly circle. That nightly circle is there to reflect on what has happened this day. Everybody, and I'm saying everybody, especially as the expedition move forward, has to give an opinion. And this is not high and lows. We're talking, that opinion is scientific. It has to be based on what has happened. What did I think? What surprised me? What was my initial opinion? What was I expecting? And how was I totally rocked off my boat? You see what I'm trying to say? Which person out of this group surprised me because I wasn't expecting that reaction? So it is important. There is reflection. There is active reflection, not only reflection on myself and on the rest of the team. There is connection. So there is connection in, I've always thought that, but now I realize that there is this. So there is reflection and connection to what was thought, okay? And that is what is steering education. This is what is steering the thought process, okay? And this is happening every night. To help this happening and to help the expedition mentality, every day, a student, okay, or a kid will be elected by the other kid to be a leader. We call him the bandana holder. Student, every day, a bandana holder, every evening, will, in accordance to the expedition mentality, and with the help of his chaperone, he will find which person has embodied the expedition mentality the best that day, okay? And that person becomes the new elected leader. It's not one leader rise and another falls, no. They all rise up and they're all expected and they all become leaders. They are all expected, whether you have the bandana or not, to start with, they are all expected to become leaders, to lead, to be part, to help that expedition progress and evolve. So the bandana is just a little helper, a little way to show the kids. Some get it straight away, some don't get it straight away. Some say, okay, so you're a good student, you participate a lot and you get the bandana. No, that's not it. It's about being part of the expedition. It's about bringing your part to the expedition. It is the one that is asking the cool question. It is the one that doesn't like food, doesn't eat, and is suddenly trying everything that is being put on the table. That is somebody that understood expedition mentality, because this is somebody that has turned around what that person usually does. That is one person that understands expedition mentality. So he rises as a leader. We maintain him there the whole entire tour.
Yeah, and I to me, as the chaperone in Ireland, the first night it's the chaperones and the guides talking about who really met that, right? And after listening to all of the debrief and the nightly circle and everything, took into that account. But then the next night, it's the kid listening, right? And he or she is trying to figure out, this is what they saw in me. What can I see in the next person? What did they do that not only benefited them, but benefited the team, benefited the elevation of everybody into this? And what I saw, and I think what everybody sees, is kid A elevated kid B. Well, kid C and D said, I want, again, it's still a little bit of a competition, but it's how did he see that? How did I miss that? Why didn't I catch that aspect of it? And then they're looking for that next thing that's going to surprise the group, like Sam said, or point out the next cool thing that, hey, did you see that flower that there's only one that was this color out of the million flowers we saw that day? It's that opening those eyes to see more, and then helping everybody else to open their eyes to see more. That's really what I saw out of the kids, was them looking at it and all the kids saying, okay, what can I see next that's going to be the cool thing, like Sam said, or is going to help elevate the group, or hey, this person was struggling today, and
they still gave 100%.
And they gave 100% of their ability, but kid C came around and he was giving all he could. Kid C came in and that person elevated by taking a load or taking time to sit and help them calm down, or whatever the case was. It's causing the kids to look at their team as a manager, as somebody who builds teams and works with teams. That's something that is rare, in my opinion, for humans in general, is to look for the good in somebody and realize where they fit to make that team truly work. Not everybody is a rock star. You need some people that aren't, and teaching the kids to look at how that works. The bandana ceremony, in my opinion, that helps them start seeing that we may not all be equal in this aspect, but he's better than me here, and that helped me get there. And it helps them look for those pieces as well. So it really is, it's a cool ceremony. And as a chaperone, and I was given a piece of the bandana, and it means a lot to me. It's on my backpack still today, that I carry with me when I go camping or when we go traveling. It's on my backpack because it's a reminder. Open your eyes, look at what's around you, remember what's going on, be part of the whole, not just yourself.
Yeah, and the kids pushing each other to get there. I really love that. I know that, some of the kids that started off, by the end of the trip, they were, I won't say completely different kids, but like,
oh no, there were some that were completely different kids.
All their great qualities came out, like you could see all those great qualities at the end because the other kids had nurtured those and them and shown them, that's a really great quality that you have. And I loved seeing that change in the kids, as well as just them having an appreciation of their new culture, their new community. I mean, half of them left and they're like, we don't want to leave Ireland. We love it here. We're moving here. We're coming here to do our study abroad. We're coming to, take classes here or whatever. I'm really looking forward to that same environment in Spain. And I know that from, Sam, when you hosted Marla and I to go a couple of years ago, showing us some of those places that we're going to be going to again, the Spanish people were so welcoming and just invited us into their culture and were happy to share it with us. And I really look forward to the kids feeling that love from the community. And I know your guides are really going to help us with that too.
Oh yeah. Well, we're just looking forward to have you here.
I appreciate it so much. Can you guys think of anything really that, kind of like the one thing that you would want to tell a parent who's considering sending their kid on this trip, what your kid's going to get out of it, or, the one takeaway, the one thing that concerns you as a parent or an educator?
That's the whole entire beauty. You know, we call it magic, and it is a life changer. I mean, those experiences are a life changer. I would say, you know, I would say that Spain is a beautiful destination, and this is a fantastic itinerary. But as I said, our aim is to get the same result no matter where we go. So I would say, it's come for the destination because it is a unique destination. But bear in mind that this is the very least of what you're going to harvest. It's a seed, and it's going to grow. It's going to grow no matter what, and it's going to grow beautifully just because of the intentionality of what we have in mind here for those kids.
How about you, Josh?
I agree with Sam that it's going to be a beautiful destination, but more than just the scenery, sinking yourself into the culture, sinking yourself into the community that's around it, that is even more beautiful. We did that in Ireland when Marla and I traveled to Italy 2 years ago. We kind of sunk ourselves into the community more than just being a strict tourist, hitting all the sites. And the days that we spent, multiple days in one spot, for me, investing and spending time with the community, that was the most beautiful part of the trip. When Sam says it's going to be safe, it's going to be safe. The guides are amazing. As a chaperone, we will definitely be watching over your kids. One of the guides last time asked me why I walk at the back of a group. Because I'm watching. It's not because I'm scared, or it's not because I don't want to be. It's because I'm naturally just a watcher. I like to watch over it. I'm a shepherd, I guess. I'll watch over my group that's with me. And it may be like, it may look like I'm not as touchy feely or as close to everybody. I was always willing to sit there and talk with a kid and willing to sit there and spend time with them, but I'm naturally a watcher, and so we will be watching over the kids. They will be safe. Nobody is going to go off on their own. We will give them space. My own kid was on the trip, and I was highly aware that I'm dealing with a teenager, and they want a little bit of space. So we'll give them that little bit of space, but they will never be in a danger or in an area where they should not be.
So another important thing is about our trips. One, safety is embedded. Okay, as I said, not only our guides, have wilderness first aid and training and have extensive experience with kids. We know all those places we go to, we know the rules and we share the rules. But as I say, safety is embedded. It's part of the expedition mentality. From day one, it is the responsibility of the kids, and they very quickly get it. They very quickly get, because they're part of the team, okay, everybody is given the opportunity, and by the end of the trip, everybody is on equal footing. Student, chaperone, guides, everybody is part of the same team. They're all buddies. They all have a role. They all have a duty. So usually there's very little space for kids to want to do kid stuff. You see what I'm trying to say? There's very little room for it. Not to mention they're usually dead tired anyway. And the places we go to are, as I say, so naturally easy to control kids that it's very difficult with all our levels of safety, starting from the place we choose, to the locals, to the guides, to the chaperone, to the kids inner willingness to be part of the expedition and to be at the same level that we are, usually all those barriers do that everything just flows. And as I said, none of the place we're going to go to, have any safety issues or security issues anyway.
Well, I never felt unsafe really while we were there. Either of the locations that we went with you. I'm certainly hoping someday I can get to Costa Rica again. But I really appreciate everyone, putting your time. I know it's late for you, Sam. It's probably close to bedtime for you. So I appreciate you staying up late to get on this meeting with us, and talk to the parents, let them know what we're going to be giving, and what their kids are going to get out of this. I mean, it's going to be a life-changing experience for their kids. Their kids are going to come home, not necessarily a new kid, but with new feelings of being able to do things on their own and be proud of what they've done and they've accomplished, and they've led the team, and they've been a huge part of something that was bigger than themselves. And not only was it bigger than themselves, it's a new culture that they now have this great appreciation for. So I appreciate you, Sam, for helping us put that opportunity together for the kids, and for your knowledge of the areas that we're going to. I appreciate you, Josh, for watching over the kids. When you called yourself a shepherd, I thought that's perfect. You're always at the back of the line. You're always kind of watching over your flock in the front. If the flock needs you, you're there. But if not, you're at the back just watching. And I like that analogy for you. So I really do appreciate you both for your time tonight. And I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to have the next group where we've got the kids to tell the kids what they're going to get to be doing and start getting them together.
Yeah, because especially once they start talking, those kids are so bright with their words and the way they look at it, that if the kids can't convince you, we have no hope. I mean, the kids really spoke highly of, and still to this day speak highly of the trip to Ireland, and are very much, the ones that I know that are going are very much looking forward to another chance to learn about another culture and to dive deep into the culture. So
I think we have 6 returners. Of the non-returning kids, we have 3 others that I know of. 2 of them are siblings of the other kids. So I'm really looking forward to the group that we're going to put together, Sam. I'm looking forward to meeting your guides as well.
they got a lot. They got big shoes to live up to.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, well, you got some heavy. That's the heavy duty ones that you get in Spain. Those are the old timers. So that's the heavy duty ones that you get here in Spain. It's the Costa Rica and the Spain, as I said, they've invented it all.
They've been with you for a long time. You've had these guys for a long time.
Yep. And and the island guides are lovely. They're fantastic. I love them to death, and they're the one I love to work with. But the Spanish ones, they got, they've been around for a long time. And when I'm saying for a long time, don't get me wrong. They're Julio, I believe, is 38, and Maria Jose must be 42. Very young at heart, extremely young at heart. But they've been a leading expedition of students. As I say, we've put together the guidebooks. Everything that is in our guidebooks that we do the training with. A lot of it come from them. So.
Well, I'm super excited. I can't wait. And I appreciate both of you guys and the time that you spent tonight with us. And I look forward to reaching out to both of you, getting some more of the, things nailed down, and getting the kids in here to start getting them excited about next year.
As always, Carrie, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to work with y'all. And Sam, I'm thankful for you for putting everything together.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Both you as well. Thankful for you, and I appreciate all your time and effort. And Sam, I'll reach out to you. I've got some updates for you, so I'll reach out to you later this week and get you that information so you'll have it on your end. And then Josh, we'll start working with kids.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you.
tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You have all a great day, okay?
Okay,
Get some rest,
bye.
Sam.